So to install, we get the 32-bit version of Windows 10. I gave you the link here. Right-click, open in a new tab. And we're going to need the ISO Enterprise. We click Continue. We just go ahead, enter any name. Doesn't have to be your real information. Company, company size. You need the @ symbol in the email address or we will not accept it. Any phone number. The last option, however, region, you do need to select Canada. Keep in mind that some countries are not allowed to download software, so make sure you select the correct country. And here it's asking you if you'd like email, so don't select yes. So we'll click Continue. We're prompted for the version. We choose 32-bit. And you choose the language. It's going to be English. And you click download, and I've already downloaded it, so I'm not going to download it again. And then the next step after this, let me close that. Next step after that, we need to verify what the installation requirements are. What are the minimum installation requirements? So it doesn't matter if you're installing Windows, Linux, whatever the case may be, you should verify that first. So if we scroll down a little bit, 1 gigahertz CPU, that's okay, everybody has that. 1 gigabyte of RAM for the 32-bit version, 2 gigabytes for the 64 version. The minimum hard disk space is 32 gigs. You need a basic graphics card, very basic resolution for your display, and of course an internet connection. So it looks like almost everybody's going to meet these minimum requirements, but if you use the minimum requirements, you will not get great performance. It will be very sluggish. You'll hardly be able to use it, and certainly with this 1 gigabyte of RAM or of memory, the installation is going to be very slow. It could take hours for it to install with only 1 gigabyte, but if that's all you have, then we have to use it. So let's go ahead and continue with our installation here. We need to start our VirtualBox. Click New. We'll type Windows 10 and try to give it a meaningful name. Keep in mind that this is a file on your host machine. So this is for the final practice question. Okay, if you look over here, you can see I have Windows 10 already installed, and Fedora. It helps that that we have a meaningful name here, or otherwise put some random numbers and letters afterward. This part is important. Verify that it's the correct version of Windows 10. So we have the 32-bit ISO file. Now here we're going to be stuck. A lot of you only have 4,000 megabytes. So you'll have to just simply install it with about a quarter or a third of that. You can go as high as maybe, I don't know, 1.3, but not much more. I happen to have 10 gigabytes, so I'm going to use about 40% of that. I think I can get away with that. Okay. But if you find that you're not installing it, it's taking more than 1 or 2 hours, stop the installation and reduce the memory right down to the absolute minimum, which is 1 gigabyte. So 4,000 megabytes, 4 gigabytes, hopefully it will install in under an hour. Let's go ahead and click Next. So just accept the default here. Accept the default. Note that it's going to be a VDI file on your host machine, so when you go looking for it later and you want to clean up your host machine files, these virtual machines are VDI files. We click Next, accept the default. Here, okay, the minimum hard drive space, if I recall, was 32. So I'm going to use the minimum here. Click Next. And there we go. So I'm going to right-click on that now, go to the settings, go to Storage, highlight the empty CD, and I'm going to click the Browse button on the right-hand side and select my ISO files. So select Choose. Okay, so I downloaded it and copied it to my desktop. So I'm going to go to my desktop. I have a folder here called OS, Operating Systems, and I have different versions of Windows. I have Linux in there as well, but the 32-bit version of Windows 10 that I downloaded is right here. So I'm going to select the ISO file, and I'm ready to install. Now I'm going to be pausing this video many times, pausing and unpausing. So it's going to look like the installation is lightning fast, but keep in mind it's because the video is being paused multiple times. Let's begin the installation. Make sure you have the right machine selected. Click the Start button. When you see this screen here, it just wants to double check that it's installing from the correct ISO file. So just click the drop down, find your Windows 10 32-bit, or you can browse again using this yellow button. There are many steps, so I'm pausing and unpausing between the steps. So over here, what we're doing is we're selecting our language, time and currency, keyboard layout. Make sure at a minimum that you're reading what you're being prompted with. And click Install Now. We accept the license agreement and click Next. Here we are either upgrading from an older version in Windows and we want to maintain all the files and settings from that older version, or if it's a new installation or you want to do a special custom installation, you choose Advanced. We have no choice because we're not upgrading, so we choose Advanced. Now we can format right now, or we can accept the default formatting from the Windows installation by clicking Next. So no need to partition right now. Windows will do all the partitioning for us. This is the longest part of the installation. It could take 1 or 2 hours. I think in my case it might be finished in about 20 minutes. I see we're almost at 340 right now, so we'll see how long it takes. Okay, so that was a very long installation, as we can see from our clock. So right now we're choosing our region. We're in Canada, but selecting the United States is fine for installing in Canada. It won't create any conflict for us. We'll click Yes. And now it's asking us about our keyboard layout. You could choose Canadian multilingual if that's what you're using, but I'm going to leave it as a US keyboard. Click Next or Yes. If you have a second keyboard, this might be the case if you have the main keyboard on your laptop and you have an external Bluetooth keyboard or an external keyboard to your laptop. So I skip that step. Now this is a step that can be frustrating. Yes, we can associate our Windows installation with an online account, but if you look carefully down here, it says domain join instead. So let's go ahead and click that one. Here we'll enter the name of the user, so any name you like. I'll just enter the name Sam. Give Sam a password. Confirm Sam's password. And of course, because we cannot recover a password online, then we need to enter some security questions. So I'll quickly go through these security questions. Then we have some additional settings. Before clicking accept, make sure you read through them. And if any of these privacy settings here you don't agree with, make sure you turn them off. But I'm going to leave everything as it is because I want the installation to be as simple as possible. So let's click next. Cortana is a Windows assistant that you can communicate with by voice, and it communicates back. We will not configure it right now. We are now prompted at this step. Do we want to make this PC discoverable by other computers on the network to keep it simple and to get through this installation quickly? I will select no, and in another module we will consider networking. And that is it. Congratulations. You should have Windows 10 installed by now. You can see here it is an evaluation, 90 days free trial.